Welcome to The Power of Change, the podcast that delves into the intersection of leadership and technology in the finance world. I'm your host, Michael Praeger, the CEO and co-founder of AvidXchange. In each episode, I dive into the leadership topics and industry trends with business leaders, partners, and customers who embrace the power of change. So our guest for this particular episode is Shawn Robinson, Accounts Payable Manager at ASSA ABLOY. ASSA ABLOY is a mid-market subcontractor, specializing in both garage door installations and automatic door installations based in Monroe, North Carolina. And they've been transforming their payment process with AvidXchange actually since 2017. Shawn has been with ASSA ABLOY for now 12 years and has the hands-on experience to address the full order-to-cash cycle, including invoicing, portable billing, collections, cash applications, and accounts payable. Shawn says one of the most frustrating parts of the manual accounts payable process is how long it takes to complete even the smallest tasks. But automation has significantly reduced that time. And today they're seeing almost about a 76% reduction in time it takes in their payment process. And I think is a great lead in to today's episode. It's not every day I get to talk to a native Charlotte leader that's been involved in automating this particular business process. You've been at ASSA ABLOY now for 12 years. How did you get started with them, and how have you grown your career over the last 12 years?
So I actually started as a temporary employee in the portal billing department. And I've done, over the course of the 12 years, I've done everything, to be quite honest. So everything from the portal billing, invoicing, credit and collections. I managed the cash application group, got that started up, processes in place, and then moved over to AP, which is where I currently am now. So yeah, I've touched just about everything. So.
Yeah, exactly. We'll start with the macro economy. It's really interesting times that we live in right now. It seems like every day when you wake up, there's a different headline in the Wall Street Journal related to the economy, with rising interest rates and, potential inflation, and now, the tariff issue. Tell us a little bit about how those, kind of changes have just impacted your business kind of day to day, and especially around, kind of managing cash flow and supplier relationships.
It's affected everybody, right? Like every business that deals with this stuff. So everything has increased. And so we're seeing that on our side as well. So like when we're doing the payables, we're paying a lot more every month. So we're having to closely watch what our spend is every month versus our revenues. So that's the biggest thing. So the more important thing to us during this time is a better understanding with our suppliers and our subcontractors and keeping that relationship that we've built over, the course of 30 years. So we've always had a focus on that so that we understand where they're at because we're in it as well. So it allows us to keep that relationship with them at a high level.
There's a lot of change happening almost daily, right? And so, yes, having those, kind of close relationships with suppliers is, super critical. And we see that across, a number of the different, kind of vertical markets that we operate in supporting customers. But you're in a really unique spot within ASSA ABLOY in terms of, being in the middle of the invoicing, collections, cash management, managing, the supplier relationships. And I'd love to get some insight in, as you see manual process inefficiencies, how do you advocate for change in terms of, hey, this is an area that we can actually deploy technology to or automate and make this a better process? How do you advocate for that internally to get, kind of the results that you've gotten so far?
So I've always been a huge advocate of change because, it's fast moving. You got to be fast as well. So the way I do it as far as our team is we'll see a problem, right? And we'll as a group come together and I'll allow them to tell me what they think that we should change or bring in as far as technology, because we have a very old ERP system, almost archaic at this point. So we don't have a lot of the bells and whistles. So we have to go outside of that to help our day-to-day tasks. So, and that's how you get buy-in from the team as well, is you bring them in, allow them to come up with the solution, allow them to do the research and technology, and therefore they're more on board as we go forward and change happens. So
that's a great leadership lesson, just right there when you highlighted is, empowering the team and then encouraging the team and giving the team the freedom to share their ideas and how they can make the process better, right? What I see across common themes of other leaders that have been on the forefront of automating kind of manual process, it's a little bit risky, right? Because you don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but kind of providing a vision of what it could be and then empowering your team to participate in the process with you, because then they have this vested interest, right, in
Right.
making the process better. So yeah, it's a great learning. Prior to automation, kind of when you first started, what did that process look like, and now what does it look like?
Yeah, so it was very manual. Like even the smallest of tasks, like storing invoices, for example, indexing, what's coming in and what we're paying, even that took, 5, 6 minutes per invoice just to be able to do within the system. And then you take like payments, for example. Currently, to issue a payment, it's about 3 minutes per invoice to issue a payment, which is a lot of time. And we're a very small team, but we're doing a very high volume worth of payables every month. I believe it's like 32, last number I checked, 32,000 a month, and there's only 7 of us. So, I mean, it's a lot of time taken to do that. So when you bring in technology, and the automation of things like payments, for example, it's reduced that time. Like I said, it's like 76%, and it's reduced that time to where we're allowed to focus on what's really important, which is like the visibility and finding the issues and being able to solve them, and then also focusing on our relationships, which is a huge priority for the team with our suppliers and subcontractors, and making sure everybody's doing okay.
That's phenomenal. My instinct is then, as you guys have grown as a business, you probably haven't had to hire as many headcount to keep up with the growing accounts payable process. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, we're able to stay lean as far as the team goes, because we automate, or try to automate as much as we can. So it takes the manual out of it and keeps us smaller. So yeah, you're exactly right.
You've been in the forefront of a lot of this automation. Maybe just comment about, as you've kind of grown your career, just the role of technology has had, for you personally, and how you think about, then how it can be deployed to others to make business processes better.
Yeah, so I've always, lack of a better word, been kind of nerdy when it comes to technology. So I watch it constantly. I even have a whole bunch at home, as far as automation, where it's turning on lights is something as simple as that. You just tell it to and it turns on. So, but no, I've always been into that. So bringing that mindset into the workflow, and the teams, to try and change their mindset to look into that regardless of age, it does help, because like I said, there's a lot of things out there, and technology is one of the fastest growing fields and fastest changing fields. So you got to be constantly watching it and see, and it's always for the better. Most of it is, so you bring that in, and it, like I said, it allows better time management and gives you back more time in your day to day, by bringing all that in. Yeah, I've always loved technology. I don't know, even like the AI stuff that we're looking into now and seeing, in the world, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's really fascinating, and the leverage of power. And one of the things that I encourage, all our teammates here at AvidXchange to do, and I'm, trying to do this for myself as well, is any new technology, and take AI as an example, is being curious and playing with it, testing it, using it as, kind of personal examples, all those kind of things, I think is kind of really valuable to then saying, okay, this actually isn't scary. And then I can start seeing examples of how I actually can use it in my work, to be more efficient and things like that. But it starts with, almost having like a mindset of curiosity. Is there anything, any words of wisdom around, that you could share for other leaders?
The biggest thing is just the understanding of it, because a lot of, when you have a business that's 30 years old, you start it one way, and it's very hard to get out of that mindset and head towards change, whether it's, because like you said, it's always scary. You don't know the outcome until you try it. Leaders need to be more understanding, and adaptable to the change that's happening around them, because like I said, it is the fastest growing thing. So you need to always be on the lookout and find better ways to help your own employees, your own team. And in doing that, you have to bring in technology. There's no way around it. That's just the biggest thing, is being more adaptable and understanding of the world that's around you, so you can help your business grow. So, and don't stay stagnant like most businesses do.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think it's, by definition, as a business, you're either moving forward and growing, or you're kind of shrinking. Kind of staying in one
Yeah.
place is really hard to do. Some takeaways that I had from today's episode were, one is, it starts with great leadership and empowering your teammates and using the teammates to kind of be along in the journey of automation. And that's kind of been a cornerstone that Shawn shared with me about, his success in deploying technology. And the success that they've had, in particular in accounts payable. 76% reduction. They're, moving from their manual process to an automated process. And more importantly, be able to now grow their business without adding more manual process, more headcount. And I'll leave you with this. I thought one of the best takeaways is, Shawn, you shared with us that to embrace technology, you have to be a little bit nerdy. And I think I love that quote. And I agree with that as well. And I think the benefit of being a little bit nerdy is you get back time in your day, you get back time to pursue other things, be more value added in your business, have higher impact. And all that goes to just creating more value. Shawn, thanks for sharing everything in today's episode. And that's it for today's Power Change episode. It's a wrap. Thanks, Shawn.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to The Power of Change, presented by AvidXchange. If you like what you've heard, subscribe to our channel and leave a 5-star review. While you're waiting for the next episode, head on over to AvidXchange.com for our latest research reports and business insights. And if you're interested in learning more about accounts payable automation from AvidXchange, click the link in our show notes to connect with our experts. Thanks again for listening to The Power of Change. We'll see you next time.